Hello guys, I have a tutorial today, yay! So I want to make this coffee themed card, but I want to make it sort of Halloween at the same time. So I got out my Paper Smooches Hot Concoctions stamp sets. I had seen some coffee mugs at the store that were Halloween themed, so that's what my idea is here. I'm going to stamp these, and I'm using a Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad because colored pencils will not smear this ink, and that's what I'm going to use. So I made a little mask out of full adhesive post-it notes there so I could stamp another coffee mug. Oh, you guys like that little chamois? I made that. I got that from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut a little square off of it, and it works just fine. I saw the Lawn Fawn one, and I was like, I can make my own. So it works great. Anyway, so here is the next coffee mug that I'm going to be stamping. And I liked how the centers were open so I can kind of decorate the cups. You'll see what I do. It's all about placement. I had to keep messing with it. So I think I got it. And then, yeah, I had to check it. There we go. So I think I'll notice that behind the, yeah, right there, the line didn't go all the way through. And then right when I did that, I smeared the ink. I never smear the Tuxedo Black ink just by touching it, but I think this cardstock is so smooth. It's the Michaels Kraft cardstock, just regular Recollections cardstock. So here's the Halloweenies set, and I'm going to use, yeah, I'm going to use the spider web. And again, stamping in the Memento ink because it won't smear. Yeah, I'm going to mask off the side, and then that sort of, it protects the rest of the paper, but then it makes the spider web look as if it's wrapping around the cup. And I hope you guys like this tutorial. A lot of people have asked me to do the card videos, and I had to make a tripod yesterday. I went to Home Depot and I made myself an overhead tripod, so I don't have to work around it. Okay, I got a little spider out of the stamp set too to have him look like he's on the cup there. And there's that chamois. It works just fine. None of that other ink that's on there, none of it comes off. It's just there. So I got out my Versafine, and in hindsight, I should have done this at the end, but I wanted to make sure I knew where my bats were going to go, so I knew where my sentiment was going to go, but I ended up smearing one of the bats. Because Versafine, while I love it, it's so crisp and black, it's so easy to smear because it takes longer to dry. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. There I show you my colored pencils, and I'll have that listed below for you. Um, I'm just going to, I sped this coloring up a bit because it took me a little bit to color. I was like, it took me a while to do this video, stopping and starting, the life of a mom. But I just kind of laid down different colors. I had messed around on another piece of paper, seeing what I'd want to do, like how, like, I don't know, how it should go. And I was trying to mimic what I did on that paper so I can do it on video for you. It's one of those things where you hope that you can duplicate it again. So I'm just putting down different colors, and I'm kind of flicking it out because I'm trying to make the cup look as if it's round. I just go back and forth between different colors, trying to like blend them out, give them a little color, and I just go in. I have different grays and ginger root, which was one of the ones that I was just using. And then I use a little bit of white, and I kind of outlined that spider web so that it looked like it was popping out. I just go back and forth, and I press pretty lightly so that I can push the color around if I need to, like if it didn't come out very well. Because as soon as you like color real hard, all that wax just kind of gets on there, and it's hard to blend it. And that's my new purple that I got. I showed that in a previous haul video. I just, like I said, do sort of little wispy motions, and then I'll go back in and try and like blend it out. That was a French gray, I believe, that color. And then back in with the purple. Just keep going. And this is sped up. It took me a while. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do a card tutorial because everybody has been asking me. There's a blender. That's a colorless blender. So I'm just going to go in and like kind of soften the strokes that my pencil made. Even though I was trying to press lightly, you could still see like hard edges. Oh yeah, I just showed you there where I smeared my bat. I tried to see if the colorless blender would do anything and it didn't. So I'm going to add some shading right there. That was a gray, and then I go in a little bit with a black right underneath. And then I use the colorless blender to kind of soften up my pencil strokes right there. It's really interesting to see how the different colors come to life on craft paper. I really like the look of it. But the pencils, you know, it doesn't matter if it's on craft paper, the pencils, they'll cover up the black lines. So I go in and I fix that later on in the video. But I wanted to do, like I was saying, I wanted to do a card tutorial, and I want to do this all the time. It was just getting it done, like not forgetting to turn the camera on type thing, and then learning my editing program. I have just a simple editing program on my computer. You know, like learning that stuff, and I don't know. It just takes, it's not just a normal like turn your camera on and do a haul video. It's not like that. I had to cut a lot of this out. This was a long video, and it's actually still pretty long. So I'm just, yeah, I'm just going in there, different colors, different, you know, just trying to make it look round. I added, oh no, I think I'll come in and do it if I haven't done it already. I'm just blabbering along. That's some shading I'm trying to add in right there. Blend it out with a little bit of purple. That was, I think gray or black. Trying to make the cups look spooky. Oh, there we go. There's my little wispy white to make the cups look kind of round. So let's see what we do. Oh, I got to add my coffee in there. I added two colors, two different colors there, and I'll go in with my blender and blend that in. That is a Lawn Fawn Booyah stamp set, and I'm using the sentiment Hey Goul Friend. And I'm going to stamp in that Versafine ink because it's nice and crisp and black. I know the video like before editing it was long because I was trying to see my placement. It was hard to do it on camera because this stuff really isn't sort of in front of me. It's pushed away from me a bit so that my camera can capture it. So I have to like stand up and look or turn the paper at me to see. So that's the kind of stuff, I mean, like just takes that kind of getting used to. Hopefully, you know, I can be as good as like Amy R. or Christina Werner. We can all hope, right? So that's where I show you. I take my black Sharpie pen and I do that last because the color pencil will smear that ink. Watercolors doesn't smear the ink, but the colored pencils will smear that Sharpie. So I went off camera and I did it, and I came back and I showed you how it looks a lot more crisp. So in that Booyah stamp set, I take that little star stamp, and I take the little Dewdrops Versa Magic, that's what it is, in purple Hydrangea, and I'm just stamping, doing like generation stamping and getting the different colors from one ink. I wanted it to look like it was the steam coming up out of the coffee cup, but stars. I think it was pretty cute. So then there was I think that was the Halloweenies stamp set again, and I wanted one more bat because up top looked lonely and plain. So I go and stamp that right up there, and that one came out nice and black. I didn't have to touch that. Okay, so this was, I always have trouble with getting my papers cut right. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, it's an 8 1/2 by 11 paper, cut at 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And everything works out fine until I go to try and like mat it, and just like it, oh, just a centimeter off, and it throws your whole card game off, man, I swear. So this took a lot of time trying to, like, I just did not want to throw away my paper. I used scraps. I cut it wrong. So I cut a lot of that out because you guys don't need to, that's boring. But so that was a mini Martha Stewart scoreboard because I think my bigger one scores wrong. No wonder why it was at Goodwill. That paper pack I just showed you, I believe, was from last year, maybe. It was the DCWV Eekaboo 6x6 paper pad. I haven't bought any of the new papers from this year. But I liked that purple with the bats because I wanted to make the purple stand out of the cups. And I liked the bats, of course. But then I thought it didn't do anything, the Kraft color next to that, so I wanted to matte some black. And I had a couple of scraps from making something else. And I didn't want to use a whole sheet of paper on the back of that when nobody was going to see it. So um, I glued the purple bat card front down to the card base because I knew I wanted that, and everything worked out fine there. It was just the other stuff. I just, ugh, I'm so bad. Look, I love using, what did I tell you? Oh, I didn't tell you. I use the Tombow Mono liquid adhesive, and I love using that because so many times have I used my little tape runners, the little, the snail tapes, and I lay it down wrong and it's crooked. Oh my gosh, and you got to try and rip it off. So you have a couple of minutes of wiggle room with the liquid glue and it doesn't warp your paper. So I definitely appreciate that. This is where I come in and I put my little scrap of black right at the top because I wanted a little border to make it stand away from the purple paper. And I was just using scraps that I had because I didn't want to waste a whole nother sheet of black cardstock. So you'll see me just giving it a little bit of a border. And I cut off at the side. And then, yeah, I got to check my placement, see if I like it. That was after all of the mess ups that I did. So here's the second little scrap of paper, and I'm going to glue that to the bottom. There we go. It's coming together. And then next you'll see me I've tried to decide if I wanted to glue it right down into the card base or if I wanted it to have some dimension, like for it to pop out from the card base. And I decided that I wanted it to pop away from the card base. So I'll show you some foam adhesive that I had laying around that I got actually from the dollar store. So there it is, and then there's all my little pieces put on. I took them all off. You didn't want to see that because that was boring. It's like watching paint dry. And then I was, again, trying to work on my placement to stick my card down. And I think in the end, everything worked out just fine. I think it came out good. So then I'm going to decorate the inside of the card. And I just took that Halloweenies stamp set again, got out the spider web, and I got the Versamagic purple Hydrangea. And I was going to do some generation stamping, but not paying attention to there was a tiny scrap of paper, that black piece of paper, you can barely see it, underneath my card, which made my stamping go a little off. You'll see that lighter color was a little dark and a little light, and I'm like, oh geez, how am I going to fix this? And I realized that in a couple seconds that paper messed me up. So I just say, well, this is what we're going to do. I scooted it out of the way, I believe. Oh no, I didn't. I moved my paper. So that would be the inside of the card. I mean, it's handmade, right? So that's my card for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.